Hello, welcome to Phantasmic Pixels, a retro gaming-themed podcast featuring Sigma X and Crying Freeman. Join us as we reminisce on the more finer delicacies of an age long forgotten. Allow me to show you to your seats and enjoy the show.
Let's just have fun.
Yeah. Hi everyone, welcome to the first episode of Phantasmic Pixels. I'm Sigma X, or Rayfist, or you can call me Brandon if you want. I guess if you want to be boring. You want to go?
I'm chunky.
You're Chunky Kong?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Lanky?
No, don't get me started. No, but you go by, do you have like a real thing you want to go by? Like Matt?
Yeah.
Crying Freeman, I guess.
I'll be Matt.
Okay.
I was born that way, I'll stay that way.
Alright, that works for me. So, Sega's 60th anniversary happened, and they released a bunch of, like, free stuff recently. A lot of it's just, like, tech demos and stuff. What I found really cool was Streets of Kamurocho, which was just a kind of a demake of Yakuza in the style of Streets of Rage, which I thought that was really fucking cool. I've always said how Yakuza games are like Streets of Rage.
Yeah.
Like I've always said, like, this feels like a 3D Streets of Rage, and they ended up doing that. It's only one level long, you can beat it in 30 minutes. Kiryu and Majima are playable, of course. They also had Ichiban from Yakuza 7, who to me is literally like Japanese Eric Andre with the way he looks. I'm not a fan of the way Ichiban looks. There's not too much to share there, but I thought it was really cool.
I think the story's really good in it.
Did you enjoy the game? Like, did you think it was fun?
So, like, I loaded that bitch up on my CRT, and it looks like...
Oh, yeah, you can do that.
It looks kind of phenomenal.
I forgot, like, it's so cool playing, like, old-styled games, like that are new, like Sonic Mania, and loading them up on a CRT.
Sonic Mania is, like, actually the sexiest game ever made.
It is a really sexy game. It looks really nice. I know it's a weird way to describe a Sonic game.
When everyone says, like, oh, it's what Sonic would have been on the Saturn, it, like, is kind of.
And then there's those idiots. Then there's those idiots who are like, it'd be like Sonic on the Sonic 4 on the Genesis. And I'm like, this is not a fucking Sega Genesis game. Like, I can see what you mean.
Nah, it's like if Sonic was on the Pico, it would be like Sonic Mania.
I forgot about the Sega Pico.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about
Michelle
that.
Ansel, Pico, and employees.
So yeah, they also released the Golden Axe reboot.
That was
so weird.
As bad as I thought.
I actually thought it was quite fun.
I thought it was a little fun.
I played it for like a few minutes, and I was like, wow, this is actually not bad.
I mean, the graphics are fucking disgusting, but like the game, it felt good to play.
You guys gotta keep in mind too, I am not a huge Golden Axe fan. Like, I'm very...
You're an awful person, even though I've only played like
I'm not like, I've never played much Golden Axe. I'm more into brawlers than I am slashers.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like I'm talking about horror movies. I've never been into like.
The only reason it's my favorite beat 'em up ever is because the main character's name is Axe Battler, and he doesn't even use a fucking axe.
It's wonderful. Plus it's only like a one button fighter, isn't it? Or brawler, kind of. There's more than that.
Well, you can jump too.
That's true. Yeah, I haven't.
And then you have your third button for the magic.
Yeah, I haven't.
That's kind of why I think Golden Axe is kind of like crack, because like I love building up the magic and then using it at the right time. Like, I just like the tactics behind it.
I feel like that's kind of like the thing.
It's just like Bloody Roar's Beast mode.
It's exactly like that. I played it for a little bit. I thought it was pretty fun. Speaking from someone who hasn't played much Golden Axe, I thought it was quite gory too. Which is
it's super gory. It looked just like God of War Chains of Olympus, like that first opening level. It looked identical in the way the enemies are climbing up. I'm like, this is literally God of War.
I feel like I feel like if it were a complete game, it could have honestly been pretty decent.
Oh, with online co-op and shit, you know?
Yeah, which is interesting because I don't know if you've heard of that game Viking Battle for Asgard that was published by Sega. But it was like this weird, it kind of
like Silver Axe.
It was like a Viking, like medieval game.
I've seen it on Steam every day of my life, but I didn't even know it was Sega.
It's like not even that great. When I can't comment on it. It was like this open world kind of game. It was weird. It was like locked at 30 frames.
It's like second. Horizon if it starred the Lost Vikings.
Yeah, they also had like two more other games for Sega's 60th, but I don't. One of them was
Fantasy Zone.
Yeah, one of them was based off Fantasy Zone, but I can't say shit because I really didn't
looks awful, but I didn't play it yet.
It
looks awful.
And the thing is, like, that is so fucking cool that Sega's just like I'm sure Sega knows they're not good either. The fact that they're just like, yo, like, we're just gonna release, like, these, like, unfinished games or these fan games. Like, it's cool. I mean, even Streets of Kamurocho, I mean, it's literally just one level long, all characters.
But it's so charming.
And they're all just skin swaps. They're all just play like Axel. But the fact that it exists is fucking cool.
And bringing back an old demo, that's just really cool to me.
No,
like something that no one even knew existed. Now it's like, oh, we get to see what could have been.
I think it's a little weird they made it limited. I mean, it makes a lot more sense than something like Mario 3D All-Stars.
I think Sega saw that and they were like, how do we
can do that too! Well, they're not charging money for this. That's the difference. These are just free.
How do we do that too and still make Nintendo look like shit? Because we're still secretly competing with them.
Yeah. So then the next thing I definitely wanted to bring up was the Analog Duo. And, as someone... I think, like, the thing about Analog that... I don't personally own any Analog products. But I know Analog has always been very much about, like, preservation. So I know it's like... I'm going to bring up, the A word, aftermarket. And I know... I know when people hear aftermarket, they're just like, oh, no. Like, because it's like... You have, like, the fucking games, and they're terrible
the
fucking...
Super Joy 3 at the sketchy flea market.
You hear about those horrible...
I'll never forget my old Family clone.
Oh, yeah. I had, like... It's kind of a funny story. Back when I was collecting Super Nintendo Genesis and NES at the time, I remember back at this local game store near us, I got this... I don't know if you remember this. I got this game console. It was called, like, the FC3 Plus or something. It's like, oh, it plays Super Nintendo, Genesis, and NES. And, for someone like me who's just getting out collecting for the first time, I was like, wow, that's fucking cool.
Where's my bucket?
And so... Are you ready to vomit already? Spoiler.
I mean, FC3...
Alcohol is involved
FC3...
right
now. FC3 Plus, that's why I need to throw up.
Yeah, no, So yeah, it was like a clone console that played, like, I don't want to get too sidetracked from the analog stuff, but like basically, long story short, it played Super Nintendo, Genesis, and NES. But
so the analog must be shit if it only plays PC Engine. Where's my Genesis games?
Yeah, well, you'd have to buy the analog Genesis for that.
Fuck.
But
I can play Mega Turrican somewhere else.
Yeah, right. But the NES. The NES one was so fucked up, like, or excuse me, of the FC3. I remember the colors were all fucked up.
Yeah, and the sound.
A good chunk. The SNES one was surprisingly okay, though. A good chunk of the games didn't even work on
Star
it.
Fox.
Probably because of that Super FX chip and the Mode 7 and all that shit. And I remember, I think my poor dad, I think he spent like. The price of it got lowered quickly because I think they caught on to how shit it was, and they're just like, okay, we can't like price it like this anymore. So the price went down really fast, and when I saw people buying games at that store, they would sometimes like give them like a disclaimer, like, "Hey, before you buy this, like, just know that a good chunk of the games might not work on there."
Don't buy Star Fox.
But back to analog, they've always made they've always had preservation in mind, and the thing about analog that you should know is that all their stuff is real hardware. It's not emulation. They're like the real deal. That being said, they're also very fucking expensive.
Yeah.
You remember
because they like to make them with aircraft grade aluminum.
They probably make it out of
no, the Analog NT actually was.
Really?
Like, yeah, like the actual chassis of the device was literally aircraft aluminum.
That's fucking crazy because, like, I remember...
Which is so unnecessary.
You remember that guy I mentioned to you, Alex, and how he was, like, super hardcore about this stuff?
Yeah.
I remember when the Analog NES first launched, I think it was, like, $1,000 fucking dollars.
No, yeah, it was.
So imagine spending $1,000.
Then they made a mini version for, like, $500.
And I get it. Like, these are really good ways.
It's so sick. I just like how it's Famicom as well, though.
Yeah,
you have both cartridge ports.
It is pretty sick. So, I'm sorry. Like, this TurboGrafx one is going to be able to play, like, it's basically an all-in-one for TurboGrafx. It's TurboGrafx, PC Engine, which is the Japanese TurboGrafx 16.
Our viewers would know that.
So, it's like TurboGrafx 16 Express, except it's...
Yeah, like the handheld TurboGrafx that Richard from ViewTech USA used to have.
That's interesting that you remember that tidbit specifically.
Oh, yeah.
I don't follow him too well. But,
he's just bonking around. Bonk.
I mean, he does kind of look like Bonk a little bit.
He's like Bonk.
I'm not a Review Tech USA hater, by the way. But yeah, no, that's really cool that like they're doing that, and I think like it's also gonna be able to do super graphics, which that's like the
Yay for the 12 games made.
Yeah, like the 8 games made for that. That's really cool. Like I think it's really cool that TurboGrafx has been getting a lot of attention lately. Like we got the TurboGrafx Mini, which has a great selection of games. I
was shocked Konami ever in their lifetime would make that.
Yeah, no, like.
And they knew what to do. Like they knew that they had to get M2 on there.
There were good games on it too. It wasn't like all shit. Like it had. I mean, I think the decision to put Japanese Snatcher on there was weird on the US console.
I think it's good. I think it's better to have it.
Like it's cool to have it rather than not have it there, but it's also like, man, I would really like to see Snatcher released in English, but we're never gonna get that.
Where's my Space Adventure Cobra?
Which one's that?
Sega CD.
It's
basically Snatcher, but based on an anime.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess I don't have too much to say there because I've never bought any analog products, but I think that's really cool.
I have an analog stick on my controller.
For what, your NES?
Yeah.
That sounds terrible. I wouldn't want to play that.
I actually get angry when I see people play 2D games with an analog stick. I actually get mad at them and want to throw a rock at them like fucking Chunky Kong.
I mean, like, honestly, like, I kind of get it. Like, I mean, like, I feel like if it's like a newer game, though, it's like the analog stick was kind of sort of adapted. Yeah. Or like if you're playing Crash 4, for instance, and you're using an analog stick. I mean, I know Crash isn't always 2D, but like, I guess that makes kind of sense because it's still like it's
still 3-dimensional.
It's still, and plus it was made with like the analog stick in mind. So
yeah, I think the only good analog stick for 2D games is the Joy-Con. Analog.
Yeah,
because like that one has like it doesn't have the grooves like N64 GameCube, but you can kind of feel the grooves.
What about the controllers that kind of have like gated, like they're like kind of gated, like
you mean like GameCube? Like,
that's
what I meant by grooves.
Like an octagon.
That being said, I can't play a fucking FPS game on like a what do you call it? The grooves. I don't know what the term is.
Grooves.
The octagonal analogs. Like I don't enjoy playing shooters with those as much.
No, that sounds miserable. I can't do that. The next big thing. So I think the Game Gear Micro came out recently.
Oh yeah, I remember. I had to get a new prescription for that. They made GGLS 3 just for the fucking Game Gear Micro. I mean, it's also out on the collection now. Like they made a collection of the LS series for Switch and PS4.
So, wait, what series?
Aleste.
I think like I've heard of this.
I mean, most people pronounce it Aleste.
Aleste. I don't know.
It's a shmup series.
Oh yeah, and it's on the Game Gear Micro?
Yeah, there were 2 of them on the Game Gear, and Sega literally got M2 to make a brand new third one for the Game Gear.
Yeah.
For the Game Gear Micro, and it's also on PS4 and Switch with a new collection they did.
That's so sick. Wait, so they basically made a new game for this throwback console.
Yeah.
And essentially re-released a brand new version
for a collection that just came out that has the other Alesta games on it.
And they also re-released it to be able to play it on a real Game Gear.
Oh yeah,
that's insane.
So actual Game Gear cartridge, I'm not sure if they did that, but I heard they did. You know Musha for Genesis?
Yeah,
it's the same series.
That's so cool. I love when companies do shit like that.
Yeah,
like I don't know why. I kind of feel like the whole idea of... I mean, retro reprints are already a thing. Like
Sega's done them. Like, they've reprinted Yakuza on PS2 and shit.
Yeah, we've seen Capcom do it.
Capcom, fucks with that.
You guys want to buy Mega Man X for $100?
They did Mega Man 2 as well with Retrobit.
And Street Fighter 2, I think.
Street Fighter, yeah, they did that.
Yeah, and it's just it's cool.
I'm waiting for them to do Yo-Noid, though.
God, yeah, where's the Yo-Noid NES reprints? Like, come on. Domino's, Capcom.
If it's not on NES Online, I'm going to cancel the subscription I don't have.
With how weird the NES Online selection is, I wouldn't be surprised if they did fucking put Yo-Noid.
They have Vice Project Doom on there, and I actually, fell in love with
that. That is a really cool looking game.
I can't believe they put Vice on there. That's such an obscure game.
They have such an interesting selection on there, games you would never
expect. Yay, we finally have Donkey Kong Country.
It's you guys want The Immortal on NES. That game you've never fucking heard of.
So, they'll put The Immortal, but they won't, The Immortal came out at the same time as Donkey Kong, right?
Yeah, I guess it's a good time to talk about like how they just added Donkey Kong Country 2 to SNES Online.
I'm like, why did it take you so long, guys?
And it's a cool game. Like it's actually my favorite Donkey Kong Country. It's just like, why did it take them this long just to put?
Why
Donkey
not
Country
all
2?
three of them at once at the same fucking time?
Yeah, and DKC 3 still isn't on there, so it's just kind of like.
And I miss that game. I like that game.
It is really nice, even if it wasn't made by Rare. Well, I mean, it wasn't made by Rare's A team. It was made by the B team.
Well, same with Sonic Lost World.
Which actually we're gonna... I don't know, I think like in terms of news things, it's kind of like...
We'll get into Sonic.
Yeah, well, I actually wanted to talk about the games we've been playing lately, and so kind of move past the game tech. So
I guess I play games.
So, yeah, right? Like, what are we talking about, you know? So... Yeah, I feel like we should start by talking about Castlevania 3, since that's what we both played recently. So
I mean, I played it for like the 1000th time, but
yeah. So
I was like your mentor.
Yeah. So for context, Matt had come over my house, and we had. Sounds like you're peeing right now.
Doesn't
You're
it?
just pouring alcohol.
I'll let them use their imagination. That's what retro games are for.
So Matt had come over my house, and we launched up Castlevania 3 on my
Sega Genesis.
Yeah, on the Sega Genesis, you know, that version of Castlevania 3. No, we launched it on my Sony PVM on my NES, because for those who don't know, I'm in love with my PVM. Like, it just needs to be known.
I've seen him make love with it.
I have definitely kissed it a few times. But yeah, no, it looks, the games look amazing on it. Especially, I got S-Video cables for my Super Nintendo, and God, I just can't go back. I don't even have the RGB model. I personally just don't want to make the investment. It's like $500. I'm like, you know, my pixels look nice as they are with the S-Video. I'm sure like RGB will make my jaw drop, but I'm pretty okay with how it looks. But yeah, it's a little 14-inch CRT television, and it looks great. So yeah, we played Castlevania 3 on it, and it was like, it wasn't my first time experiencing the game. The first time we played it was through the collection on my computer.
Yeah.
Until midway, you mentioned how we wanted to play it again. And I'm like, well, why don't we play it on the PVM?
On the Nintendo.
Because I literally have a real NES, I have a real copy of Castlevania 3, and I have a fucking PVM. Like, just come over here. We stayed up till like 3 in the fucking morning.
Oh,
I made a tweet about it too. Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think we even slept at all.
I had 45 minutes. I was somehow okay.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, who are watching for the first time, it must be said, Matt is pretty much the Castlevania guy of this. Like, you know Castlevania fucking stupid well. Whereas me, I only really understand it at a surface level. Like, you pretty much played all the games.
I've played Judgment once.
That's like the only good Castlevania.
That's the only one I've played.
It's like the best fighting game ever, right?
I mean, Bloody Roar comes close, but
Castlevania Judgment is yeah, it's a great fighting game. But
anyways, boy, I love character design.
Yeah, the Death Note character designer did the...
I love looking at things that piss me off.
I mean, I guess it's like fan service, kinda. Like...
I mean, Simon is kind of fan servicey, because they're like, let's take the manual version of him from like the Famicom Disk System manual, and let's make that design modern.
That would be like if with Link to the Past they saw how
if they made that Link.
Yeah, Link has pink hair. Like, didn't you guys know? Honestly though, bring back pink hair Link. Like, come on, guys. Come on, Nintendo.
Hashtag bring the pink.
So anyways, wait, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, Castlevania 3. So yeah, so it was my first time playing through Castlevania 3, like legit. We did it without save states. We actually beat it.
Yeah.
I took the Grant route, which Grant is the character who's able to like climb onto walls and
Spider-Man.
Yeah. Well, he basically can cling on the walls, and he turns what is already a hard game into an easier time. It's basically the game's easy difficulty.
Yeah, it's like each character makes the game a little easier in a different way, but
right.
Grant is like the kind of easiest.
Yeah. I kind of like skimmed over like the story, but the game is a prequel. For those who don't know, I did beat the original Castlevania, which is what prompted us to want to do this. And in this game, you play as Trevor Belmont. It's like a prequel to the original Castlevania.
No, you're playing as Aeon.
Aeon.
From Judgment.
Is Aeon like... Who is Aeon?
Oh my god, don't even get me started.
That's like a
Let's talk about good games.
That's a whole nother bag of worms. Yeah, you're the one bringing up Judgment. Not
Basically
me.
the Doctor Who of... One of the Doctor Who's of the series.
Really? Oh, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you were playing as Trevor Belmont, and, actually, do you want to talk about the story? Because I actually... Like, all I know is Dracula is back, or there for the first time, and you have
Yeah. So, like... It's interesting, because, like, I've gone over Japanese manuals and translated them all through high school and stuff up to today and stuff, and, like, there's a lot of stuff that hasn't been explained, and there's a lot of stuff that has kind of just been left out as unimportant in canon. In current, like, main series canon, basically, Dracula's like, I'm a vampire, I'm loving life, I'm living my best life with my wife, Lisa, and we made a baby named Alucard. And then it's like, Lisa is like, oh no, I'm being killed because they think I'm a witch, because witch trials and shit.
Yeah.
So they murder her, and then Dracula's like, ugh!
Oh, yeah, so, wait, so they killed Lisa?
Yeah.
And that's why, like, Dracula hated humans? He's
yeah.
Like,
I mean, not the exclusive reason. It's kind of built up, and that's kind of like the final, like, nail in the coffin for why he wants to murder everybody.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, so that sets it in stone. Basically,
Okay.
the whole townspeople and everybody, a little bit before Dracula attacked and shit, they banished the Belmonts because they were afraid, because the Belmonts were so strong, they
Yeah.
were afraid of them as well. So the Belmonts were banished from the town. But then, like, once Dracula's fucking eating everybody and, like, murdering them with
Fucking
his
cannibal.
people,
Yeah.
with his monsters and shit, they're like, oh shit, maybe we should ask the Belmonts for help. And the only Belmont they could find was Trevor. So then Trevor's like, well, I'm gonna restore honor to my family name and go kill this son of a bitch so that, like, my family is, like, respected and good again and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And he runs across people on the way, Sypha Belnades, who's, like, basically a witch, and...
She does, like, ice magic, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does different, like, there's fire, there's homing attacks, there's ice and shit.
Yeah.
And she was also asked by the church to go after Dracula. This is stuff in the Japanese manual.
Yeah.
She was one of the people who the church sent out to kill Dracula, but she got captured along the way, so when you free her from the boss, that's kind of where she got captured.
She was like a statue, wasn't she?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the Cyclops captured her and kind of made her a statue.
Interesting.
And
Okay.
with Grant, he just kind of went on his own revenge mission because Dracula's shit killed his family.
Right.
And
Didn't
then
he
along
mutate
the way,
into...
yeah,
Yeah.
along the way he got turned into a monster. And then Alucard, because his mom was like, oh, don't hate humans like your dad does, even though I'm being murdered in front of you.
Isn't that sweet?
And basically, for his mother, who wants people to live and prosper and shit and live in peace, he decides to try to kill Dracula because, like, oh, I'm doing this for my mother, because she wouldn't have wanted all these people to be killed in genocide and shit.
I've always, not to drift off topic, but I've always found that interesting that the Alucard, because Alucard in this game really does look like a younger Dracula. Like, he really does.
He's like a classic vampire.
Yeah, and I've always found it so weird when I looked at Symphony of the Night, and I'm like, man, like, he fucking...
If you look at Vampire Hunter D, Alucard in Symphony of the Night is basically D.
Yeah, maybe they got some design inspiration.
No, they did.
I mean,
and even the story, like, Alucard's personality in that game is basically D.
Yeah. Like, he's super fucking hot in Symphony of the Night.
Yeah, but like D. Like, in the Vampire Hunter D novels, basically, a big thing that they try to say is that D is beautiful.
Yeah.
And that women fall for him even though he's quote-unquote beautiful. And that's because Dampiers, the combination of human and vampire, they're known as beautiful creatures. So when that's basically why Alucard looks like kind of like a
majestic, beautiful, yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. So yeah, like, you know, it's funny because yeah, so I took the Grant route because, like, again, like I mentioned,
it's just an easier time.
Yeah, and I've heard, like, with Sypha you can take some cool
Sypha's amazing for bosses. Like, Sypha will just annihilate bosses in like 2 hits.
That's interesting because well, next time I play that, I will.
Alucard is a shitty partner.
So you know what's funny about Alucard? When I was talking with Wyatt about Alucard, which we definitely need to get Wyatt on the show at some point, he was saying to me how he was saying, like, I think Alucard's one of the easier routes because you can use that whole bat thing to fly through.
I mean, yes and no.
But you need the hearts for that.
Yeah, I mean, Alucard, the route you take to get Alucard is the most difficult in the game. It fucking punishes you for existing. And it's the enemy placements are hard, the platforming is hard, and you have falling block sections.
Yeah.
But Alucard, his attacks are fucking garbage, but he can fly, and that's his benefit, is that he can fly. I mean, his shots, they shoot like a spread pattern like Contra, so you can reach enemies easier, but they're so weak it's just kind of like useless.
That's so interesting. Like, yeah, I definitely had a pretty fun time with the gameplay. It is a fucking hard game. Like,
I mean,
honestly,
I'd say like the final stages is where it gets hard.
It's a lot like every Castlevania game. It's a lot of memorization, and this one like honestly feels so content rich for an NES game. Like I was just
it's such a beefy motherfucker.
I was like, wow, like you would have to replay that game like 4 times to get like the full like.
Oh, even more than that, because Alucard's route has a fork in the road.
Yeah.
So you have 2 different Alucard routes.
Yeah.
And you can go to the Alucard routes with Grant.
Yeah.
So you have that replayability. You can go through any route you want with just Trevor if you want.
That's crazy to
So
me.
there's just shit ton of just different paths you can take through the game.
And I already thought like Mega Man games had a lot of replayability with like being able to tackle bosses in any order, but see how Castlevania 3 and Castlevania 3 was like a much later NES game.
Around 1990, yeah.
Yeah, so like I mean the Super Nintendo was kind of on the horizon. Was the SNES already out?
No, 91 was the SNES.
Okay, yeah, so it was the Super Nintendo was on the horizon. So like they definitely put everything they could with CVD, and it's graphically it looks great. Like it's still got that gothic style that Castlevania is known for.
Yeah.
But it's very colorful at the same time.
Oh, it's super colorful.
Like for an NES game, it looks amazing, honestly.
Yeah, they're just like they knew what color palette they needed, you know.
And I also wanted to talk about like some of the levels that I remember, that I liked at least. I really loved the Ghost Ship level. I thought that was really
and then
cool.
they brought it back in Rondo.
Did they? Oh yeah, they did.
Yeah, the Ghost Ship's in Rondo as well.
God, I need to play Rondo. But I definitely also want to bring up like everything leading up to the Dracula boss fight and how much like honestly like fucking hell that boss fight. I like if you weren't there to help me that I actually. It was just a lot of memorization, I feel. Like, with, like... Because you, like, at the point... Like, so, like, when you first fight Dracula, like, he... It's kind of, like... Honestly, like, it's... I didn't even think it was super hard once you, like, explained it to me. Because he, like, he shoots those 2 flames at you, and then he, like, has, like...
The third one comes up.
Yeah, there's, like, 2 flames that, like, he traps you in between. And I guess, like, the further away you are from him...
The wider the gap between the flames is.
And that gives you like an opportunity to do it. Like I felt like a lot of my deaths were just me being really fucking stupid.
Oh no, me too. As I first played the game years ago, that's what my playthrough was like. I was just like, you learn the game. Like, it's about learning the enemy patterns. You know?
No, definitely. And like the second form is the one where you, like it's like a giant like bunch of faces that are spitting this fucking like vomit at you or something.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I was just like, what the fuck is this? But I didn't find it too hard. I just, to me, that second form was just like, okay.
How about the third form?
The third form is fucking irritating because he shoots like, so it's like a giant golem statue or something, and like he's shooting lasers at you from like each direction.
Yeah.
Well, like one's from his head, one's from his left hand, and one's from his right hand.
Yeah.
And even with the little trick you taught me of, hey, just watch where the lasers go and just keep throwing axes at him.
Basically manipulate where he's going to shoot and then move out of the way.
Right.
Like a Toho game.
It is kind of like a bullet hell, isn't it? But what was fucking me up was those platforms that are moving.
Oh, that's the one thing that fucks that up so bad.
It totally fucked my rhythm up.
You know, the first time, years ago, when I first played through the game, I actually killed the statue, but then fell down.
Oh, God. No, that's the worst.
That was the first time I beat him, and I fell down one of the holes, because it was a jump whip, and I fell down one of the holes after jump whip.
It's like when you beat Bowser, because this can happen, like when you beat Bowser in a Mario game, in the star, you get the star, and you're like, cool, and you just jump to your fucking death, you're like, oops.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't imagine how soul-crushing that must be as a kid, like, fuck, like, God.
I was in high school when this happened, and I was like...
I'd be screaming.
I was so mad. I was like, what the fuck?
Especially for a game like that. Which, I think it's also important to mention about Castlevania 3 how, apparently, like, so it's pretty well known at this point, but the Japanese version is supposedly, like, how much easier, like, it's a lot easier.
Piss easy. Like, it's, I would say, a tiny bit harder than Castlevania 4, maybe.
Yeah, that's so interesting, like, because usually I feel like it's the other way around, where the Japanese one is a lot harder than the US one.
Yeah, I mean, there was Ninja Gaiden 3 as well that did the same thing. The Japanese one is like piss easy.
It must have been like the whole rentals thing here in
That's
the US.
the theory,
Because
yeah.
renting games back then was huge.
Yeah.
And I guess like for Castlevania, they really wanted to like make it so fucking... Which I know we're a little conflicting on the difficulty, which I'll get to in a second. I guess they wanted to make it so hard so you keep renting the game over and over again, and yeah. But where my personal like small gripe with the game when I played it was I had felt the difficulty was a bit too tough at times. I don't know, like, I feel like Castlevania 1 had a much more, like, nicer balance to me, in my opinion, where it was tough, but Castlevania 3, especially with some of those wall-scrolling segments where enemies can literally pop up right in front of you, and that happened a few times to me. I was like, fuck that.
I think it's more so that the stages are a lot... Well, I think the game is a lot shorter with CV1, so it doesn't feel as punishing.
No, I mean, I get that. Like, it definitely... Yeah, no, that's also true. That CV1 was... I mean, I felt...
Like, that's only 6 stages.
I guess you could argue Dracula was a little harder in CV1 at times. Like, I felt that first form when he's throwing the fireballs.
Because if you don't know how to... If you don't know that you can jump over the fireballs, you kind of, like, have a hard time... If it weren't for the 2 times holy water, because the multiplayer, I don't think I'd be able to beat that. Yeah, that's the thing, because, like, it's easier to cheese Dracula in 1, but in 3, I think the fight itself is a lot more up to... I think the fight itself is more fair, even if it's harder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, definitely. So yeah, overall, I quite enjoyed Castlevania 3. I thought it was like definitely one of the better NES games I played. I don't have a lot of NES experience here, but like, because like NES games are fucking hard.
Ninja Gaiden's pretty easy.
They require a lot of memorization. So yeah, I know you have a lot you want to say about good old Sonic, but before you get into that, I feel like would you? I'm gonna probably just mention what I've been playing lately, if that's cool, because I don't plan to drag on too long.
Yeah.
But I know you have a lot to say about Sonic, and we're already 30 minutes in, so
I like that.
Yeah. I don't know if like we should make it like an hour 30 minutes, but
let's go on until we feel like.
Yeah. So next up, games I've been playing lately. So before I bring up 3D All Stars, just because I figure I might as well mention it. It's like, what can you really say about Yoshi's Island? It's like, it's such a...
It's gorgeous.
It's such a fundamental of game design. But, like I mentioned with my PVM, I got the S-Video cables, and I'm like, hey, I never beat Yoshi's Island. That's just like one of the big SNES games. Like, I beat Super Metroid, I've finished Super Castlevania 4 with you. I beat Mario World, I beat Link to the Past. I beat all of those. But Yoshi's Island just...
Never beat ActRaiser.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's a big one. My city sim. Oh no, what am I gonna do? But yeah, I never beat Yoshi's Island. It's a game I played a lot, but I never beat it. And I'm just like, hey, with the S-Video cables, and Yoshi's Island looks amazing with it. Oh my god, it's unbelievable.
It's kind of sad. I feel like Yoshi's Island is a lot more ignored than it should be.
It's one of those games, totally unrelated, but like I remember a YouTuber mentioned this, it's kind of like the original Tomb Raider. Like, a lot of people talk about it, but you never see like footage of like the final moments of the game.
Totally.
And apparently the final moments of Tomb Raider is actually a fucking horror game, so that's an interesting thing right there.
Hey, just like the movies.
I've never seen the movies of it.
They're awful.
Yeah, I would imagine, just because video game movies.
They're dumb fun, it's whatever.
I'm sure. But yeah, Yoshi's Island. It's just one of those games where I feel like a lot of people talk about it, but you never really see like the final levels of it. It blows my mind how like it is a late Super Nintendo game. At the time, pre-rendered graphics were like still like this is the norm. This is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And granted, Donkey Kong Country did do it amazingly. I still love Donkey Kong Country.
But Yoshi's Island looks so perfect.
Yeah, and they decided to go against the norm, and Miyamoto, or I think there was like another person who worked on it. I'm really bad at Japanese names. I'm sorry. I think it was Tezuka or something. They decided to go for a hand-drawn Crayola style, which I know people will say, okay, well that's kind of fucking kiddie, and
It's too kiddie for my Yoshi game.
I can't.
With a baby Mario in it. It's
right?
too kiddie.
It's a baby Mario origin story. Like, come on. Which, you know, it's funny you bring that up. I find that so interesting how the full title of the game is not just Yoshi's Island.
Mario World 2.
But Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island.
It's kind of like Wario Land was Mario Land 3.
Right? And, like, it's like, who the fuck are you going to talk to? Who's like, yeah, and Super Mario World 2. No one's going to say that.
No, everyone's just going to call it Yoshi's Island.
Well, I mean, there might be someone out there who doesn't, and I'm sure that
But it doesn't feel like a Mario World sequel at all in any way, shape, or form.
I'm guessing they called it Mario World 2.
For sales.
Yeah, well, for sales, I mean, ended up working great because Yoshi's Island ended up being a whole fucking series that never was as good as the first one.
Hey, Yoshi's story is amazing.
Is that the N64 one?
Yeah.
I haven't played that one.
It's like, okay.
Yeah, it's still not as good as the first one, though.
It's charming in its own ways. Like, like you said, you respect how Yoshi's Island went against pre-rendered, but like Yoshi's story is
they did go
pre-rendered.
Well, to be fair...
It was an N64 game. They wanted to make it look 3D,
To be fair, though, the intro cutscene to Yoshi's Island on the Super Nintendo was pre-rendered.
Yeah.
And those little minions that Kamek sends after Baby Mario, and he's fucking bawling his eyes out.
It's like Uncanny Valley type shit.
It actually, I do remember, because my sister did have a Super Nintendo. That was like, I grew up with a Sega Genesis. That was one of the few games, like, she did let me borrow her Super Nintendo, and that was one of the few games we had for it. I do remember that scared the shit out of me. Like, I don't know why.
Yeah,
like,
it's uncanny.
When you see, like, weird graphics that look like they weren't meant to be part of the game, even when cartoons did this.
It just stands out to you in your head.
It's like like in Courage the Cowardly Dog when he sees that screaming woman and it's made of claymation. That actually terrified me for so long as a kid. But yeah, no. They incorporated a kind of a sort of a hand-drawn style for the game, and it looks great. Like, it honestly looks amazing, in my opinion. And they even did this, like, with the advent of 3D games soon coming forth.
Yeah, because it uses the FX chip, but there's no, like, 3D in the game.
And my goodness, that Super FX chip. Don't even get me started on that shit.
No, they do, like,
because
incredible.
Like, I mean, you know, Sega was all like, we have blast processing. Nintendo doesn't have this.
We have Virtua Racing, guys. Look how impressive we are.
Yeah, this 2 frames per second. Nintendo could have just straight up been like, we have acid. Because really, like, Yoshi's Island is just a trippy game.
No, it is.
There's these little fuzzies in one level. Everyone.
And then it gets like all fuzzy.
I'm sure everyone knows what I'm talking about. You grab these fuzzies, and the screen turns all wavy and like colorful, and Yoshi is fucked up, and you have to like navigate him.
No, that's why I love the game so much. Is like it has such a, the atmosphere in that game is like the warmest, coziest, imaginative.
It is like the kind of like game you'd have like hot chocolate with and just play about. I could totally picture getting that game like on a Christmas morning or something. Even though I didn't grow up with a Super Nintendo.
It's just, I don't know, Yoshi's Island makes me feel different than any other game I've played does.
It is a very comfy game.
No, it is.
And
I love the soundtrack so much.
Oh, yeah.
The GBA port wasn't bad either.
Yeah, I mean, well...
that was the one I beat, because I had the Super Nintendo one, but the GBA one is the one I beat.
Yeah, you want to talk about confusing titles in video games. How about Super Mario Advance 2? Yoshi's Island... Like, the order they released those in was strange,
like,
too.
Mario 3 was Mario 4, right?
It was Mario Advance 4.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck?
That was how I played Mario 3 for the first time.
Yeah, no, I could talk all day about Mario 3. This is about Yoshi's Island, because that's the game I'm playing. Yeah, so it made such big use of that Super FX chip, and like these fake 3D effects. There's even a lot of times in the game where there's like 3D platforms, and like stuff like that, even though it looks kind of out of place. It's really cool, and
Wait till you get to the final boss.
Oh god, it's so ambitious too. And the thing is, the other thing that I really like about Yoshi's Island is that it's always throwing something new at you.
Totally.
No level feels the same. And
the game is so big too.
There's 48 levels in that game.
Yeah.
And it's constantly throwing new things at you. And it just never like it never feels like it's retreading the same ground.
Right.
It's always like you'll have one level where there's chain chomps in the background, they'll jump into the foreground, and then like another level where Yoshi will go in this little log cabin and grab skis, and like he'll start going down the mountain, and it's like fucking adorable, and it's so cool. And yeah, I'm just having a great time. I'm on the final world right now.
That's so good. I can't wait until you get to the final boss.
We could probably
so good.
We could probably play some of it after the podcast.
Oh my god, that would be.
I've got the PVM hooked up. We could definitely do it. So yeah, no, it's really good. I'm really enjoying it. I would love to talk more about it, but of course, there's so many other games I've been playing lately.
Yeah.
And I know
the
you
last
have your
thing
thing.
I want to say about Yoshi's Island. Though,
Yeah, no, go on.
Is
Don't lose your train of thought now. I know the alcohol is getting to you.
I had such a good thing to say about it.
No.
Oh, I got it. Okay, so for Yoshi's Island, I want to say it pisses me off. It's such a bandwagony complaint. It's such a easy to like complain about complaint to get views and shit. I hate the people who shit on the Baby Mario stuff because it's not that annoying.
Yeah, no, I never found Navi like that annoying, honestly.
Yeah.
Like people are so harsh on it. And
Yeah,
I'm just
but
like,
I feel the same about the Baby Mario shit because like I don't know. It's like, oh, I hear this baby crying. This game is infuriating me. It's so fucking annoying. Give me views, guys. I'm so angry. It's not that fucking bad.
Just angry game nerd number
Just fucking
507.
enjoy the game in front of you. The fucking presentation is perfect. The controls are great, and the fucking, like you said, it throws new shit at you all the time. Is a fucking crying baby sound effect gonna ruin an entire fucking game?
Yeah,
for you?
I'm not gonna enjoy Yoshi's.
It's just a
Island for this.
bandwagony thing. Like, no, it's not that bad, everybody.
I never really found it that bad either. I mean, it's still a well-beloved game, so I'm sure people are just, like, being annoying about it.
No, yeah.
So, yeah, moving on from that, just because it's, like, yeah, it's so good. I've been playing Mario 3D All-Stars, and oh my god. Okay, so, well, I mean, okay, well, it's like...
I hate the business
If you did not own Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, or Mario Galaxy, it's competent. It gets the job done. It's like, okay, I want to play.
And if you don't know how to emulate shit, yeah.
Yes, so
and it's cheaper than buying the game separately.
So I bought these games for this game with 3 games in it for 2 reasons. Number 1, I really want to play Mario Sunshine again. I don't want to hook up my GameCube. I would really like to play
I feel
Sunshine
you
again.
on that one. That's why I like compilations.
I love, and let me just say right now, it's so funny how my reaction to playing Sunshine again after all these years is the exact opposite of the internet's reaction.
No,
But,
I've been hearing the same thing.
Like, it's like, this is like and it is a very buggy, glitchy game, I won't lie. But honestly, like, I might go as far as to saying it, between this and Odyssey, Sunshine might now be my favorite 3D Mario. For those who don't know, I 100% it's Sunshine.
That final stage.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh god, with the fucking volcano.
The boat, yeah.
Oh. But yeah, the collection is about what you would expect. It's the 3 Mario games.
Yeah.
So I guess we might as well just talk.
I love how much of a ripoff it is.
So it is very bare bones.
And there's fucking graphical glitches in it.
Yeah, which I'll get to in a second.
And there's touchscreen shit.
Which I'll get to that too, because I want to like talk about each game individually and the changes.
Yeah.
So like, in terms of what the collection offers, so you've got a menu screen, which shows the year each game released with a little description of each game. Cool, that's cute. And then you've got like a music player for each game.
Which I actually really like that addition.
I do. You know, Smash Ultimate.
Because like most compilations don't do that.
That's true. But also, that's it. Like that's
all you get.
That's
for
literally
$60 fucking.
That's literally all you're getting. And like it's just like.
Can't wait for 3D All-Stars 2 with Mario Galaxy 2 and 3D World.
You get Mario Galaxy 2, 3D World, and
3D Land.
Oh,
HD.
Sure, why not? 64 DS. But no.
That would actually be kind of sick.
It would be kind of sick. I love 64 DS.
Yeah.
So like, yeah. So okay. And the funny thing to me about Nintendo, this is totally a side topic, but I think it's so important, it needs to be stressed. Nintendo, like, so they've done the Kirby's Dream Collection, and that had a lot of, like, behind-the-scenes developer stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a ton of shit.
And when you look at a company like Sony, and you play like Ratchet and Clank or something, they're always more than happy to show you like little behind the scenes, like hey, here's the development of the game.
And as the games are coming out, they have interviews on YouTube and stuff.
But Nintendo wants
they never do that.
They want you to think like their games are made of fucking magic or something.
Miyamoto doesn't smoke 50 packs a day.
He actually is a heavy cigarette smoker, I've heard.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course.
It's Japan, it makes sense.
He's a game developer.
But yeah, so yeah, you don't get anything like that, which is like cool. Thanks, guys. I never even got to finish my statement because I got so sidetracked. But the two things that made me want to buy it is Sunshine and Nintendo saying it was limited. My anxiety spiked, and I was just like, I'm like, I like when I heard the L word, limited, I was like, oh fuck. Like I'm like, if I don't get this now, I'm never gonna get it.
No, exactly. They knew that's what they had to do to sell.
They were going after people like me.
Exactly. It's like, fucking disgusting.
They were like, hey, Brandon, you really want that 3D All-Stars, don't you? I'm like, not really, but
it's like limited run games.
I guess I need. It is like limited run games. But this is like a big company. And I remember I called my local Best Buy because I was so anxious. I happened to be in town, and I was like, hey, I'm like, I've heard like the 3D All-Stars really limited. I doubt you guys would have it, but I thought I'd ask. Like, nah, bro, we got 20 of them. I mean, like, I'm not complaining. It's like cool, like I got it, but it's also like it did work because it got me. And it's like I don't know. It's just like I got it, and it's like, I feel like Nintendo is gonna be like, I think they're gonna be like, wow. So we see they're and also making the digital download limited.
My guess is that they're gonna potentially sell them separately each on the eShop afterwards.
So fucked.
But like, it's just like we all know why they did it. It's scummy business shit. They're not being called out enough for it because like
because idiots like me are gonna buy it.
Well, not even that. Like buying it is besides the issue. Being criticized for it's different. Like every game company doing a slightly scummy practice gets shit on so hard, but then as soon as Nintendo does something super scummy,
it's super okay.
Nobody gives a shit or they defend it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I love Nintendo. Like, I really do. I love the games they make.
And that's the thing. They're all fucking amazing, but, like, the price, the limited release around it, it's just like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Terrible.
What are you doing? Like...
So, yeah, I ended up buying it, and, I played through Sunshine. I enjoyed it. I kind of want to talk about each game, like, really quickly.
Oh, go for it. I'd love to hear it.
And I want to, like, just talk about, like, the changes they made, because I think that's the most important part. So Mario 64.
So long, Gay Bowser.
No more. So they got no more So Long, Gay Bowser. That's gone.
So I read into that. There was a second release of Mario 64 in Japan called Shindo Mario 64, which was like basically a special edition that fixed some of the glitches and shit, like the backwards hopping stairs glitch.
Backwards
and shit.
long jumps gone. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, they put that version in the collection, and that's why there's no So Long, Gay Bowser.
Yeah. I don't know if it was like a maybe it was. I don't know. But yeah, they got rid of that, and like I was just kind of like, okay, whatever. That's not really my experience. Like
it's not the definitive version though, because speedrunners prefer the original version.
Oh, yeah. The thing is, I'm not a speedrunner, so I'm not personally bothered. They did bump the resolution up, and it does look quite nice. Some people didn't like the new texture filter. I don't think it looks too bad. It actually
the game doesn't look bad necessarily.
No, I actually think, like, in terms of what they could do with the resolution, it looks quite nice. It looks a lot more sharper than...
But then you see what fans can do. We'll get into that later.
Oh, God.
When I get into my games list.
Yeah. So, they, what was I gonna say? Oh, yes. The one thing you can't do, and this would have been a very simple thing for them to do, I personally would have kept it in the normal aspect ratio because I don't really care to have... I don't really care to have, like, my games stretched if they're not supposed to be.
Yeah.
But there's no, unless you, like, mess with your TV settings, there's no way to make the game widescreen, which is, like, could have been so easy to add.
I mean, a fan did it for free, but again, we'll get into that later.
I guess you could say we're both playing Mario. I've been playing that a little bit on the side. It's more so I guess it's like...
I've been so hooked on 64, but I'll wait until you
Well, when I'm laying down in bed and I'm just like, oh,
it's a perfect game for that.
It is like it that's one thing I do really like about 3D All Stars that did make me kind of want to buy it. It was like, oh, I can play these on the go, and it is really comfy to lay down in bed and I'll play one mission in Mario 64. I know the game quite well. So that's really all they changed with 64.
Yeah.
You can't like remap the controls or anything, which is
Which
like,
what
again,
the fuck?
like they could have done that super easy.
It gets worse when you get to like Galaxy though,
Oh,
but I'll
God.
let you get to that.
Yeah. So Sunshine, which is the one, obviously the one I had the most experience with because I 100%ed it. With Sunshine, you have the biggest change in Sunshine was a change to the controls because the GameCube had pressure-sensitive buttons, and the Switch obviously doesn't have that. It has the Joy-Con, so rather than holding the button down gently to get FLUDD so you can run around and shoot with FLUDD, you rather have two separate buttons, one for stationary shots and one for being able to move around with FLUDD, which, fair compensation.
I mean, how else would they figure that out?
That's a fair compensation. Some people like that control aspect a lot better.
I think it's better personally too, just because like, here's my button for run shooting. Here's my button for like. I feel like it's more intuitive.
It makes sense. I mean, I haven't played.
Like I know it was, they did that because they had to because
Yeah.
the Switch's digital triggers, but like
It works.
I think it's personally like better.
I haven't played the GameCube original in so long, so I can't really say whether I like it or not better. But it's there, and it worked for me. So yeah. Visually, I mean, this is just a testament to how good Mario Sunshine looks.
It looks amazing.
It is widescreen. They did went through the effort of making it widescreen. Thank the fucking Lord.
Yeah.
And it looks great. Like, it actually looks beautiful. Honestly, it's hard to believe that game came out on GameCube at times. Like,
I agree. Especially the water effects look so ahead of their
It's
time.
so weird for us to be gushing about water in video games, but like,
Yeah.
honestly, it does look really good. For
Yeah,
the
when you
time.
see how much ugly water is in games, you'll
Especially
appreciate
in that era,
Sunshine
like
so
Jack and
much.
Daxter, it's like all
It's
foggy, foggy looking. Yeah, it's
GoldenEye had better water though.
than Jack and Daxter.
No, than Mario Sunshine.
But yeah, Sunshine looks great, and it was genuinely the same game all around, just with the higher resolution bump. So there's really
and
not
some glitches graphically.
Yeah, isn't there like some beta elements left in there?
Well,
I think
you
Riley
sent me
told us.
screenshots where like during the stages where fucking like Dirty Mario or like Bowser Jr.
Dirty Mario? That's a nickname, okay.
Bowser Jr. when he steals FLUDD and you go through those like obstacle course stages, isn't there like the edges of the platforms have this weird graphical glitch where they like there's this weird shit going on, right?
Yeah, I think I heard about
Which
it.
is
I
like,
don't remember seeing
how?
it, but you could be right.
I've seen screenshots of it everywhere. I'm like, how the fuck did that happen?
That is true, and I do remember the jagged edges of the ink.
That's what I was talking.
That's what you're talking about? Yeah. There's like
that as well.
That I saw that shit in Dolphin Emulator, which proves to me that they literally probably just found an ISO off the internet and called it a day.
Well, totally. Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
They didn't port the game. From what I read, Sunshine is emulated. I think Galaxy is emulated, and then I think 64 they ported.
I thought it was like Galaxy was actually from the ground up, which would make sense because of like what I'm.
No, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
So, Galaxy, which I would argue has the most changes of this collection, like definitely, without a doubt. In Mario Galaxy, so I had only played Galaxy briefly, so I can only say so much. So forgive me. But in Galaxy, they made it so you. So I would say the best way to play Galaxy is with Joy-Con separated, because it's just like the Wiimote and Nunchuck where you point the cursor and you have the star. You pick up the star bits with the cursor.
Screw you, handheld players.
Yes. So I have been told, which I haven't played the game handheld yet, but I've been told that when you take the game off the dock and you play it handheld, you have to use your finger to pick up the star bits, which sounds like shit. And it's like,
what the
and
fuck? There's a second analog stick.
And for those who haven't played Galaxy, picking up the star bits are like your main source of collectible. They're kind of like a currency, sort of, to afford more planets. And the very thought of having to hold the Switch gamepad up and use the touchscreen to pick them up, that sounds dreadful. That sounds
There's
absolutely
a second analog stick right there on the fucking system,
and they
guys.
just chose not to do it for some reason.
Like,
I mean, well,
on Dolphin, you can map an analog stick to Wiimote motions.
or have like some kind of like magnetizing or something.
Or something like that.
Like anything else would
Like,
work.
And then the motion control, it's the same thing with Odyssey. Like, did you forget that you're making a handheld game at the same time, guys?
It's just weird to me that like.
Why do they...
I feel bad for the Switch Lite users who want to play this game.
I didn't even think of that. That's
They're probably
awful.
just like, well, fuck.
I didn't even think of that. Holy shit.
But even, you know, what's another thing I want to point out, I don't know if many people have mentioned this, but even with the Joy-Con separate, I felt like there was some, like, kind of, like, input. I don't know if it was my HD TV, but it didn't feel as good as, like, an actual Wiimote did.
No, I feel like... I think the thing with that is the Joy-Con is so much smaller and lighter when the Wiimote is a lot more dense and heavier, so it feels better to swing around and shit.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like motion controls work better on the Wiimote generally, just because it's the shape, the size, the weight, compared to a Joy-Con, which is, like, paper thin and light and shit.
No, absolutely. So that was kind of my short-lived experience with Mario Galaxy.
Yeah.
You know, collection overall, like, it's fine. I mean, like, if you didn't own these games, like, I think, it, like, you know, if I didn't own, which obviously I do own these games, you know, I'm just a fucking idiot like that. But,
It'll be good for the people who, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it'll be good for certain
if you don't want to drop $80 on Sunshine alone on eBay, then by all means, go for it.
No, yeah, like, I will defend them on that front. It is cheaper, like, significantly cheaper than buying each game with their console.
Yeah.
Obviously, but at the same time, you have people like Capcom, Konami even, doing collections. And like, yeah, they're not big 3D games, they're 2D games like the Mega Man and fucking Contra and Castlevania and shit, but like, there's more shit in them, including developer diaries.
It's just like very minimal effort. Like,
Yeah.
It's just like they didn't even bother.
Yeah, Mario's just minimal effort, and like, full price, limited release, it's just corporate garbage.
And I guarantee it's not going to be limited.
No, they're gonna bring it back. They're totally gonna bring it back someday.
Yeah. So yeah, would you like to talk about the games you've been playing?
I've been playing some Castlevania games and some Sonic games
Okay.
and
Which ones?
Mario 64 games.
Yeah.
So
want to
you
talk
just
about-
talked about 3D All Stars. I'll talk about 64 PC. So like, basically the Nintendo Giga Leak happened and source code for 64 got out, and with that, a fan by themselves ported 64 to Windows and added widescreen support. And it's the simplest, easiest thing ever, and it makes you go like, what the flying fuck was Nintendo doing? Charging money for a collection with this shit. So like, 64 PC.
It's like a fan-made native like version of Mario.
Like,
not
it's
even
basically a Windows game.
Yeah.
But it is Mario 64.
That's so cool.
And it's DirectX right out of the box. You can play with an Xbox controller right out of the box.
Nice. That's so cool.
And it plays in windowed mode, and basically all you have to do is just resize the window, and the field of view changes automatically.
Yeah.
So the FOV will change automatically depending on how you stretch out the window.
That is really
like, you don't have to worry about settings or anything.
Yeah, and that's crazy. That didn't get the old Nintendo cease and desist.
Not yet, anyway.
Wow.
So I downloaded it
Let's
right
not jinx
before
it.
that would happen. So like, I see this as like a spit in the face to Nintendo for what the collection's been.
Yeah.
So I've just been playing through it, and I know it's becoming a little cool to hate on 64 lately, but I still think it's phenomenal.
I feel like, I mean, okay, I'm still in the early game levels, to be fair, but I didn't find myself having a dreadful time with it.
No, it's not, because like, the camera is shit at moments. Sure it is. Like, there are moments where the camera won't move where I want it to, even though there's nothing in the way of the camera, just because I can tell they wanted the platforming to be more difficult based on the camera, which is, yeah, that's shit, but it doesn't make the game shit.
Yeah.
It's just like, as time goes on, people shit on the early 3D games, and they forget that they were early 3D games, you know what I mean? Like, they were the pioneers of that era. Like, of course they're not going to be perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't find Mario 64 was that terrible.
No, yeah. It's becoming a little cool to, like, not think it's shit, but, like, hate on it a little bit lately.
Yeah.
But I still think the game is phenomenal. Like, people complain about, being thrown out of the level after you get a star, I don't really mind that.
Yeah.
Like, sure, it could be like Odyssey, where you just continue in the same stage. Sure, it could be like that, but I don't think it makes the game worse.
Yeah.
Because, like, most of the stars, you get them in, like, 3 to 5 minutes.
Unless it's the 100 coin star, you actually can grab it and then get, like, a normal star.
Yeah, right.
So that's an option.
Totally. And, I really don't think... Like, the stars don't take that long to get. I mean, I'm a little more familiar with the stages, so that could be different, but, like... Most of them, trial and error at some moments, but you'll get to them quick when you know the level design, things like that. And, I don't know, it's like... 3D platformers bore me, but 64 does platforming. It doesn't focus on shitty combat, it doesn't focus on, like... other mechanics that just distract from making good platforming. It's all platforming. It just feels satisfying. The controls are still tight. There's so much you can do with Mario himself.
Yeah.
Through the game that it just kind of impresses me. That they like thought of all this shit. Like, I know the moveset was taken from Game Boy Donkey Kong, but like
a lot of people forget that though.
Yeah, right.
That's an interesting little detail right there.
No, it is.
I forgot that Game Boy Donkey Kong was even existed.
That game
honestly.
is phenomenal. That game is fucking amazing.
It is like a really awesome game.
Yeah. It's I don't know, 64 it's charming, it's surreal. The world, the music, the presentation itself.
I think what's funny is like it isn't it crazy to think that like Nintendo not only cuz like with Mario, the original Mario Brothers or Super Mario Brothers rather, they like kind of like set the standard for 2D platforming games, and they also set the standard for 3D platforming.
Yeah,
like they
right?
did it not once but twice.
Exactly, and everyone copied them.
Like
just
how
like
often do you see that?
Just like with Super Mario Brothers, everyone copied them.
Yeah. So that's pretty crazy.
And I don't know, I think the game still holds up. Like, sure, you could say it's dated, but I don't really like that complaint from people. Like, if a game's dated, what does that mean? Does that mean it's bad? It just kind of means that it's a product.
I guess
of its
they
era.
just mean like, oh, it hasn't aged as well in the modern era.
Yeah,
Kinda
but
like
you're
something like
comparing it
Resident
to things made now.
Yeah.
And it was made like 20 to 30 years ago, so I don't think that's really a fair comparison. Like,
Yeah.
I like to take games for what they are. I don't like to like...
You have to look at them at face value.
Yeah, right.
That's understandable.
And
I get that.
I still even think Mario 64 holds up compared to other games of that era.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. The music's fucking amazing. Like, graphics, it was an early 3D game, so I'm not going to say good or bad, but, like, for the time, they were really expressive and shit, obviously.
Yeah.
And just, like, I don't know, the gameplay is still so fucking good just because there's so much you can do.
Yeah. I mean, Peach's Castle is just like a...
Yeah,
just,
the
just
hub
like
world.
just like a training room, basically.
Yeah, the hub world is so good because you remember where everything is. It's opened up to you in such natural, like... I don't know how they did this for such an early 3D game, but, like, Peach's Castle is, like, a better hub world than even games today, I think.
Oh, yeah. Because, like, it's not, like, a nuisance. Like, you know where everything is. Everything is distinct and everything's unique.
Exactly. And there's so much mystery. Because there's so many secrets around it, and there's so much you can do in it, like, empty the moat and shit, and, like, other things like that.
Can I just say, I didn't know, like... Because my first version of Mario 64 was actually Mario 64 DS.
Yeah.
I didn't know for years about that booze haunted mansion level.
Right.
Because I was like watching, I reached the credits on Mario 64 DS, and I saw like it shows every level in the game, and that was one of the levels they showed, and I was like, what? I don't remember that.
Yeah.
And like I messed around with the booze in the courtyard, and I was like, huh? Oh, and then I was like, oh my god, and I got there, and I was like, wow. That's interesting. So yeah, it's really cool, definitely.
No, totally. But yeah, the game holds up, and it shows that Nintendo did a shit piss poor job with the collection regarding 64.
It is pretty tragic, honestly.
Other things I've been playing, Castlevania ROM hacks. The Holy Relics is a good ROM hack. It's basically, imagine Castlevania mixed with Mega Man.
Yeah.
So you can choose your starting stage, and when you beat a boss, you get a sub-weapon. that you can use in any stage. So it's fun. It's really good. The graphics are fucking impressive, especially for a CV1 hack. They got some impressive graphics.
Did they like change the graphics up a bit?
Oh, a lot. Like everything is different. It's all original graphics.
You know what I've noticed with a lot of these ROM hacks, like the Mario World, because there's so many Mario World ROM hacks.
So many, yeah.
I think but you know what's weird is like you never really see ROM hacks. Like at least like ROM hacks that change the graphics for games like Donkey Kong Country or Yoshi's Island or something like that. And I think the reason for that is because those games' graphics were much more complex, whereas something like Mario World or Mario 1 is so basic and so basic, it's so much easier to make new sprites for those, I guess.
Yeah.
I think that's the reason why a lot of those Castlevania ROM hacks existed, is because it was easier to do than your typical, you know.
No, totally, yeah. And yeah, it's a good ROM hack. I think you should check it out. Yeah. And the other good thing about ROM hacking is like when you patch your ROMs, you can combine patches. So you can do that patch, but you can also do a patch for like mid-air controls. At the same time.
That is really cool.
I did that for Castlevania 3 recently.
I'll have to put that on the NES Classic.
Yeah.
Or if I ever get an NES flash card.
Exactly.
That'd be cool to play it on real hardware.
Yeah. The other things I've been playing,
You want to talk about the big...
right after that, I've been playing more Bloodstained 2, and, like, I still think what I thought originally, which nobody knows because I never had an audience in the first place, but, like, I don't think... I'm not complaining that the game's too hard, but I think the difficulty is cheap and unbalanced.
Yeah.
Like,
this is the 8-bit one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They throw things at you way too quickly, where, like, I feel like the player mechanics aren't perfectly in tune with the enemy patterns that they put in there, or the boss attacks that they put in there. Because, like, the thing with an action game like that is, in Castlevania set the standard, you want a balance where the enemy is basically on the same playing field as your player character.
Yeah.
Where your playing character has this health, has these movement sets, has these quirks to them, as well as the enemies have these quirks to them. And that creates kind of a yin and yang, where there's a balance between what the player can do and what the enemies can do, and how they handle each other, and how the player tackles things through that. And Bloodstained, well, Curse of the Moon 1 rather, the first 8-bit one, it did that perfectly. Like, it knew what it was doing. I think the difficulty in that game was pretty perfect up until the final stage. They kind of had Quickman style difficulty in the final stage. But everything before the final stage, I think the difficulty in that game was actually perfectly balanced. Like, I was super pleased with that. Bloodstained 2, it's Inti Creates, same developer as Mega Man 10. They did what they did with Mega Man 10. Where, like, Mega Man 9, which they also made, was, again, like, perfect balance. I think the game was really, like...
Didn't they make Gunvolt as well?
Yeah, they made Gunvolt as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Mega Man 9, they did really good difficulty. But then Mega Man 10, they made it too cheap. Not hard, but cheap.
That level with the trucks, I remember.
Yeah, it's not a fair, hard game. It's hard because they're shitting on you the whole time.
It's kind of like they looked at the original NES Mega Man's like, well, they've always been hard. We should also do that.
And that's just not what they were like. And Curse of the Moon 2 is not what Castlevania was like. Because you mentioned Castlevania 3 and you mentioned, like, the difficulty.
Yeah.
But, like, it never at any moment did anything against what the player can do.
Yeah.
It presented challenges that the player has learned to deal with, so they will deal with these new challenges as they come.
Yeah.
Bloodstained 2 kind of just throws shit at you without compensating for what the player characters can do.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's a bad game. I still think it's, like, super good. I still have a really good time with it, but I'm so frustrated with it because it's that Mega Man 10 style difficulty where you're just fucking getting destroyed because the enemy placements are just not good. And some of the stage designs with the enemy placements are not good.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of replay value in it as well.
Yeah.
The fucking presentation's incredible. The graphics and the music are better than Curse of the Moon 1 or even Ritual of the Night. I think the music is way better.
Yeah, that's good.
The presentation they nailed. It's so good. Like, they knew how to get that atmosphere where, like, there's humor in the game. Like, with the Castlevania games, there's some humor and weirdness in the game, but it still has a really dark, like, kind of, serious atmosphere to it.
As it should.
And they nailed it. Like, they nailed that, too. But, like, I think with a little bit better difficulty balance, I think it would be a much better
I forgot the
game.
second one even came out, honestly.
Yeah. I was happy when it came out. I still enjoy the game.
Kind of released under our radar.
Yeah, right. And, like, I still enjoy the game. I don't think it's bad. But, I don't know. The difficulty's cheap. It's not hard. It's cheap.
It's the fucking worst.
Like,
is it Kaizo Mario levels of cheap?
It kind of is. The checkpoint system is horrible. You know how in CV, the doors are the checkpoints?
Yeah.
In Curse of the Moon 2, you have the doors, but you also have candles. So the candles are your main checkpoint.
Yeah.
When all of your player characters die, you go back to a candle.
Yeah.
When one of your player characters dies, you go back to the last door.
Oh, jeez.
So you die with one character at, say, a boss.
Yeah.
You'll get back to the door. But then, say, because you're screwed since you lost one character at the boss, you can't beat the boss because you're kind of, like, undermanned now. You'll lose all your player characters and then go back to the candle, which is maybe 15 minutes before a boss fight.
Why would they fucking do that?
Exactly! I was playing the game today, and I literally had to play through 15 minutes of gameplay twice.
Like, I just don't have the patience for that shit.
Yeah.
Did a lot of people, like, say that about the game?
No, the game has, like, 10 out of 10 across the board. No one says it's too hard or anything.
It's so strange to me.
But it's cheap as fuck. Like, people complain that Castlevania 3 is too hard, and, like, I'm not knocking you or anything.
Yes,
but the same reviewers who will say Castlevania 3 is too hard will praise Bloodstained when it's an unbalanced difficulty compared to Castlevania 3.
Yeah,
it's just kind of like, I think it's a bandwagon-y thing where they're like, oh, I know I have to give this good review because it's a new 8-bit style Vania, basically.
Yeah, with no, like, basis of,
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
But then, other than that, I've been playing Sonic Lost World, and it's really shitty.
No.
It's
you had a lot to say.
Really shitty.
So before you get too heavy into it, it's interesting when you told me your thoughts on Sonic Lost World, because me personally, I've heard a lot of people tell me it's really shit, but I'm such an odd one out here because, so my experience with Lost World, before you get heavy into yours, I was one of the proud owners of a Nintendo Wii U.
One of 3 people.
Yeah, one of 3 people. Jimbo over there has one. It was one of the games I was really excited for. That, Wind Waker HD, and Mario 3D World. They were all, like, coming out 1 month after the next. I was super excited. I was like, I saw gameplay for it, and I was like, oh, cool, like, a 3D Sonic that doesn't look like shit. No,
I agree with you. With the trailers, it doesn't look like shit.
I was kind of excited. And I, honestly, like, I at the time, and even currently, I kind of found the game a bit of a hidden gem. I found the levels fun. I found the parkour mechanic, while really rough around the edges, I found that once you get used to it, it's kind of fun. The game graphically looks really nice too, I felt, especially for a Wii U game. But yeah, so now you can rip and tear into it. I've set the stage.
The fucking mechanics don't work, and when they do work, with the parkour mechanic, the game doesn't teach you at any fucking point how to use it or anything like that.
They have those little question mark things, but I didn't really read those.
Yeah, but then on the PC version, like, I know on the Wii U version, after looking at reviews, when those notifications pop up, you look at the gamepad and it tells you what to do. The PC version doesn't have
They didn't even program that in?
No, and they don't tell you what to do at all.
That's crazy.
So...
That's actually really fucking
No, exactly. And just on top of that, you know how you have the homing attack?
Some enemies need to be kicked, and some need to be homing attacked.
And there were moments in the game where I was stuck, and I kept dying because I'm homing attacking these enemies and I'm not fucking killing them.
There were those enemies in the desert zone. Haha, get it? Yeah. It was a desert-themed world, but one level in the world is actually a candy sweets-themed world.
I actually liked that stage a lot.
It was like a really clever idea, but there's one enemy in it that's like this moto bug, and if you don't kick him, or instead of, well, if you homing attack him and you don't kick him, he will like straight up like fucking explode with you.
Yeah, right. And like, what pissed me off more was in the jungle with the spiders. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do think.
Because you have to kick them, but I was like, homing attacking them, like I have no idea how to beat them. I literally don't know what to do. I keep dying and shit, and like, I don't know what to do. So I looked up on YouTube and I saw the guy kick. I'm like, how the fuck do you even do that?
And I also remember they brought back the wisps from Sonic Colors.
So I'll say something about the wisps. A lot of reviews hate that they're there for story reasons. I don't mind them there.
I don't mind them returning. I just think their implementation is shit.
No, yeah, it is shit. I don't mind them from a narrative perspective because think about it. Sure, it doesn't make sense for them to be there story-wise after Colors, but at this point, they are power-ups. It's like if you said Mario can't have mushrooms anymore. You know what I mean?
Don't take away his mushrooms.
And Mario
needs it.
Mario won't be able to live life without shrooms. The game doesn't teach you how to use any of the fucking mechanics, so when you're playing through it, you're just dying and dying and dying over and over and over again.
It is quite easy to accumulate deaths in that game.
Yeah, because it doesn't tell you what to do. And like, I usually hate games with tutorials, but this is a game that needed it.
They also kind of fucked up the casino level, because like, I remember there's this part where you are thrown into this pinball machine, and if you... Now, usually, like in Sonic Adventure 1, for instance, in the pinball machine, if you lose... Or rather, if you don't get over 50 rings, you get sent into the sewer section. So sort of like a redemption to get back to grind.
I actually didn't get to that. I didn't even know about this.
The sewer section from Sonic Adventure? You didn't know, like... If
Adventure. I thought you were talking about Lost World.
No, Adventure 1, if you have under... you have...
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
In Sonic Lost World, they don't have that. If you die in the pinball machine, you just die.
Yeah.
You just lose a life. And I'm like, they didn't do anything clever with that. So I thought that was really stupid.
Yeah. But, like, they tried to put a lot of shit into this game and tried to melt it together good, which I respect. And I see what they were doing, but it doesn't work. Because, like, the mechanics, they don't teach you how to use them. And then they don't even work when you try to use them. Like, the homing attack, like, you have a double jump, right?
Yeah.
But there were so many times where I tried to double jump, but the homing attack made me homing attack into an enemy and then die.
It does have very weird homing attack. And
then the shit about charging the homing attack, I didn't even know about that until I looked at a YouTube review. Yeah,
you have to like hold it when it targets, it kind of like does multiple targets.
Exactly.
And it like charges up.
And like during the first boss fight with Zavik, I wasn't damaging him. Like, you know, at the end of his fight where he goes, "Whoa, I'm about to fall and shit," like Scar and Lion King.
I do remember that.
And I kept homing attacking him.
Like, it's not doing anything.
Yeah, it made me take damage. I tried doing the homing kick, which the game didn't teach me, and I had to learn from the fucking spiders. From a YouTube video? I had to look at a fucking YouTube video to learn how to play this game.
I totally forgot if they actually told you how to do all this stuff.
They don't. They don't tell you at all.
Oh, man.
And that's why I was stuck at the spiders. But then Zavik, I tried doing the kick attack on him. That didn't work either. So I kept dying at the fucking Zavik level, getting game over, having to replay the whole fucking level again. And then I looked at a YouTube video, and the guy charges up the homing attacks. I'm like, what?
That's he doing that?
Can do? Exactly.
And then you look at it, you're like, oh.
And then I'm like, that's how you do it. I'm glad the game never told me how to fucking do it.
Yeah. It is a really weird mechanically game.
And then
it's not
the final state, the wisps.
Oh yeah.
I
never aside from the very situational wisp, like that rhythm wisp, which I'm kind of like.
I'm gonna comment on that.
I want to say quickly about the rhythm wisp. Like, it doesn't make it would have made sense to actually make it like a rhythm game of sorts. It's not. It's just helping you traverse. I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
it's worse than the PC version.
Really?
So since you don't have the Wii U gamepad to touch where the music notes are, you have to just tap the A button. And it makes the music note move. I'm like, how is this any different from just moving normally?
It's like, this ain't Bust a Groove. What the fuck is this?
That reminds me of the stealth section.
Infuriated me. That's like the old man's level.
No, it was the emo guy's level. The guy who's like, I want to slit my wrists and kill myself. Like that guy. His stealth section infuriated me because I didn't know that you could hide behind the trees at first, because the game doesn't tell you that you can.
Yeah.
And I kept getting caught and dying. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
This game.
And then I get to the emo guy's boss fight, and he throws those things that go around in a circle, and I homing attack them, and after I homing attack them, they don't do anything. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I can't fucking attack this guy. So then I looked up a YouTube video walkthrough, and he kicked them, and then kicking them makes them fly at the boss and hit him.
Yeah.
I'm like, why not just let you homing attack them? Because that's what people are going to do naturally.
It's crazy that you had to like look up this mini walkthrough.
Exactly, because like, why?
I'm wondering if my experience was this like.
Because Sonic Forces tells you to press A to fucking jump. Like, they have so little confidence in their players. They think they're all fucking stupid. Press A to jump.
But it's made for kids.
Yeah, and if it's made for kids, why not let Lost World tell you how to do these complex mechanics?
That's fair.
It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's so interesting because I haven't played Lost World in so long. I just remember not hating it that much when I played
Oh my, it was so infuriating. I was literally playing through the game just to beat it. I like the game's humor. Like, there were moments where I actually thought it was funny.
I mean, I guess that's what you get when you have the same storyboard writers as Happy Tree Friends, which,
yeah,
you
right.
know, a YouTube animated series where animals get fucking mauled to death. I never expected to be the writers.
Well, it's about animals, right?
Yeah, they're flickies from Sonic.
Yeah.
I never expected they would write the story for a Sonic game, but here we are.
Yeah. There was one moment that made me actually laugh out loud. You know the Snowball Stage?
Yes, I hated that level.
Yeah, it was awful. But I will say at the end of this, like, you know how at the end of every stage Sonic does this little dance thing? It says, yeah, I'm awesome.
Yeah.
During the snowball level, when you beat the level,
he's
it's
dances
still just
in the snowball.
No, he doesn't even dance. It's just the snowball sitting there
and, like,
during
moving.
the whole thing. And then it says Sonic going like, all right. And I thought that was fucking hilarious. Like, I was like, that is actually...
You can just hear him say, all right, in the snowball.
Yeah, but like the snowball is just sitting there during the level complete screen. I'm like, that is actually fucking funny.
I feel like they really... I don't want to say, like, okay, I feel like saying, like, oh, it tried to rip off Mario Galaxy. A lot of games have done the
I don't mind that.
I feel more so it tried to kind of take Mario's simplification of, like its level theming and kind of tried it. It more so feels like it did that than, like, oh, this is a fucking Mario Galaxy ripoff.
It's not a Mario Galaxy ripoff.
Like
the games are so different.
Plus,
but like
Sonic Adventure 2 did anti-gravity too. Like,
yeah, exactly. Before Mario Galaxy even did.
Way before it.
Yeah. And on top of that, I don't even mind how slow the game is compared to like normal Sonic games, but like the thing that pisses me off is when the mechanics don't work, because like they never work. And then when they do work, the game just feels really mediocre. It feels really empty and hollow.
Yeah.
Like, in the final... Well, not final boss, because that's with the Eggman, but, like, the final fight with...
Spoilers? Oh my god!
Yeah, fucking Eggman...
Those two people who...
Fucking Eggman is the last boss in a Sonic game? What the fuck are you doing telling me this?
It's like Dr. Wily from Mega Man.
Yeah.
It's like, who would have thought? I never would have thought.
That's basically what they do in this game, where it's like, oh, it was Dr. Cossack? No, it was actually Dr. Wily. The whole time it's like, oh, it was Zavok? No, Eggman's the final boss.
Wasn't the, so the story...
oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
Say what you're gonna say.
Well, I was gonna say, maybe this was a different Sonic game. Didn't Sonic and Tails have some falling out in the story or something?
No, they do.
That's so funny to me.
There's this whole thing where, like, they have to team up with the Eggman, even though they've already done that 100 times.
Yeah.
They have to team up with the Eggman, and then Tails gets, like, pissy and moany, like a CW drama. And then Sonic's like, no, Tails, we just need to have Eggman because he's smart.
Yeah.
And Tails is like, no, you just don't think that I can do as good as him. And, like, I see what they're trying to do, but it's so pointless, especially with how the plot wraps up.
That's, like... I mean, like... I remember the Sonic Heroes manual, like, as a kid. Like, I read through it, and it was, like... It actually listed the characters' ages, which I was like, what?
Yeah.
And so apparently Sonic is 16 and Tails is 8. So Sonic is double Tails' age, and they're just chilling. And I'm just like, man... I mean, like, when I was 8, I certainly wasn't hanging around 16-year-olds.
Yeah.
And I'm just like... So, like, I don't know. Maybe Sonic's just really fed up with Tails' shit. I mean, you know that moment from Sonic Adventure 2 with the fake emerald.
Tails!
Like, Tails, what the fuck? So, like, I don't know. I guess just, like, they try doing something.
Oh my god, the story in the game is so bad. Because, like, I see what they were trying to do, and like I see what they were doing, like, because like I study writing. I like look deep into writing and
the
stuff.
deepest of Sonic philosophy. Excuse me.
No, that's the thing. The game tries to have actual writing tropes and stuff, but like, it doesn't work because the game betrays them in 2 seconds every single time.
No, I'd imagine
It's like
probably not
the
very
story
good.
itself goes back and forth, and it forgets exactly what it was trying to say.
And the
like,
Deadly
what?
Six are like...
The Deadly Six are fucking cancer.
Eggman has like some magic conch shell or something to control them. Like,
I thought SpongeBob.
It was like a magic conch shell, wasn't it?
Yeah, it actually was. But he called it a conch.
A conch.
Yeah, no, he does call it a conch.
Oh, I don't like that name.
But it's funny hearing Eggman say conch. Because I think Tails and Sonic call it a conch, but he calls it a conch. I could be wrong about that, but...
I don't like that.
The Deadly Six are so fucking irritatingly boring. Like, here's the thing. When there was a cutscene with Sonic, Eggman, and Tails, I would watch those.
Yeah.
But if it was a cutscene of the Deadly Six in Eggman's base, I would literally immediately skip
They really
them.
tried to like make them all like have their own distinct like personalities. Like,
But here's the thing. They're just stereotypes.
aren't they
There's
supposed to be
nothing
made up?
clever about them at all.
The Deadly Sins? Oh, well, there's 7 Deadly Sins.
The 6, yeah.
Those are 6.
But, like, there's nothing unique about them. They're just stereotypes. Like, the green one is just a woman, and, like, stereotypes of what a woman is.
Oh, no.
Fucking Zaphic is just a generic villain.
Yeah.
The emo one is just emo. The redneck one is just a redneck who wants to shoot shit. Like, Redneck Rampage.
I love that game.
The fat one is just fat. And then the old one is just an old wise man. Like, they're literally just stereotypes.
Haha, get it? He's fat. He eats a lot.
Exactly.
He's got a giant 12-inch
There's
sub.
nothing clever about the writing. There's no character in them. They're just stereotypes. But, like, the fucking green Deadly Six member is just a girl's like, oh, Sonic, you ruined my nails. Fuck you.
That's so fun.
And, oh my god, can I talk about Final Fight with Savik?
You should. This is the one where you're on top of the, this is like the sky place, right?
No, the second one, where he's giant.
Is
and
this
he's
the lava?
climbing up. Yeah, the lava one.
I'm gonna look this up in the background, but keep talking.
So, you have to use your downward bounce to basically make these blocks fall on him. And it's so poorly done.
Sorry. Oh, sorry.
It's so poorly
Is it this one?
done. Yeah,
No.
you're on the right one.
Oh, he doesn't show. Is this it?
It's the right stage.
Oh, but he doesn't like the go
Oh,
on.
wait.
Yeah, I'm looking it up.
Okay, yeah, and
keep-
I thought it was the right stage.
Keep going though.
So
Oh, this is the one. Yeah, I remember.
he shoots these fireballs when
I
he's
remember.
not like the platforms get destroyed when he climbs into them or when he shoots a fireball. The fireball has this odd radius where it'll destroy the platforms next to it, sure, but it'll also destroy the platforms like a few inches near it.
Yeah.
And that got me killed like 3 fucking times, even though it doesn't make any sense.
God.
I would keep falling because when I did the downward bounce to hit the blocks into him, it would hit 2 blocks at the same time, and then I couldn't move in time, and I would fucking die. It took me so long. I had to get game overs and play the whole fucking stage again to fight this poorly made boss fight. And then after that, it's like, yay, fight Eggman for 2 minutes, and then the game's over.
It's like an endless runner stage too.
Yeah.
Which the game throws quite a bit, I've noticed.
Yeah.
And I guess those levels.
And I don't mind them. I thought they were the better levels. Like the minecart levels, I thought were actually kind of fun.
I think I remember that.
Well, let me talk about the good things. The soundtrack is amazing.
Like it's not like your typical like Sonic music.
No,
like
it's
hard rock.
not.
It's just very
Yeah.
like nice, like kind of like.
The graphics themselves, I think.
I like the graphics.
The
It's
graphics
like
are
very,
good.
It's very simplistic.
Yeah.
They definitely went for
Like,
that.
I think the graphics have problems, but generally they're good. It's a very good looking, like, for the most part, it's a good looking game besides some of the animations.
Yeah.
But again, mechanically, like, Sonic's momentum doesn't make sense.
It's the only Sonic game that actually has its own dedicated run button.
Yeah, and I thought that was a good idea. Honestly, I legitimately think that's a good idea.
It is a pretty cool idea.
But, like the platforming doesn't make sense. Because, like, you know the bounce that you use to kick the enemies?
Yeah.
You can't double jump out of that. And that got me killed so many times. Just because, like, why can't you double jump out of it? Or, like, after a homing attack, you can't double jump once. Why not? There were so many moments where, like, I would jump, and Sonic's momentum doesn't make sense. Because, like, it's not like the old Sonics, where the momentum, like, you jump and then you can just keep moving. It's like, you have the momentum from when you're standing and moving, and then you jump, and then you can't, like, you can barely move after that. So that'll get you killed a lot. Again, the double jumping's kind of fucked.
Do you remember that? I remember on the Wii U version specifically, there was Nintendo-themed DLC for the game.
Yeah.
There was like a Yoshi's Island level, which was like, kind of interesting. And then there was like a Zelda one where you could explore Hyrule Field. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I was like, that's cool.
No, it ain't bad.
But that was like...
On the PC version, we're going to have to mod it in, but...
Yeah. I'm looking at footage of the game right now. I'm like, yeah, no, the game looks really
No,
nice.
the presentation isn't bad.
Like, I quite like the way it looks.
Yeah. But last thing I want to say about controls. They're way too fucking sensitive in Sonic Team.
It is super sensitive. Like,
Sonic Team does it for every single new Sonic, and I don't get it.
They wanted to try something different here, and I want to give them that.
And I appreciate it too, yeah. Like, I don't mind what they were trying to do.
Before they just went back to it again with Forces, though.
Yeah.
Like let's try the boost shit again.
But everyone's gonna fucking, like, literally murder me for this. I would rather play Forces than Lost World.
I don't know. There could be a lot of people. I know a lot of people who hate Lost World.
Yeah. Just like Forces, as flawed as it is, it is a fun time, and it's fun to laugh at, and like I think the gameplay loop is more satisfying.
It wants you to take itself so seriously.
Yeah,
like,
and Lost World has moments of that, but not the entire time.
That is true.
But I don't know, not Generations. That is a much better game, but
I don't think these games are
yeah
even close to Generations.
But Forces, I am satisfied when I play that game.
Yeah.
Like, not that it's good, but the moments of satisfaction, like destroying a shit ton of enemies at once, that's fun enough.
I feel like those moments felt so automated, and like I do not feel immersed right now. Like
no, exactly.
So
like I'm not arguing it's a good game or anything, but like comparing the two, I would have a lot more fun with Forces than I ever would with Lost World. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, definitely.
Like
that's fair.
Sonic Team in general, just like, and I'm not someone who just shits on Sonic because it's a cool thing to do. I like Sonic when it's good. Like,
yeah, that's the thing. It's like most Sonic fans realize that it's like they're not that oblivious. Like they know most of the newer games like aren't really that.
But they're
good.
overly forgiving.
It's like and it's like that. And it's like I think it's like we so badly want a good Sonic game because there's so much potential for there to be a good 3D Sonic, but it's just like seems so rare.
Yeah. Yeah.
You think we should conclude it here?
I think we got what we wanted to say out of the way.
Awesome. Well, guys, thanks for watching.
Please go play ActRaiser.
1 or 2?
Both.
Okay. Well, we're gonna conclude it here. So thanks for watching the first episode. Hopefully we can continue recording future ones, and so yeah.
Oh man, yeah, I would like that.
All right, laters.